Hey, 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 welcome back. Welcome back to the Virgo channel. My name is Laura. If you're new to my channel, I'm going to do a general message for Virgo. Know that energy is fluid, roles can be reversed. Just interpret the message as resonates with you. Also, know on this channel and all my channels, I like to dive deep within the reading. So, I do look at everything, but we take time to look at the spiritual blocks, the shadows, and see how they play out as karmic themes. I can't deal with this hair. I'm sorry. I have to just get it into out of my way. Sometimes it's just like ugh, that way. Anyway, so on here, I look at everything. But as I said, I look at the spiritual blocks, the shadows, see how they play those karmic themes. Because most of the time, it's not a question, does your person have feelings for you? We want to know why it looks the way that it does. We want to know what we can do to stop ruminating, especially when you've already tried to talk to the person. What is the whole spiritual significance? Because when we know that, then we can actually heal. And that changes the entire dynamic of your connection. And if it's a soulmate, which past life karmic mates are soulmates, you get them to do healing because it's not that there's not love. You might be like, why does it look so toxic? Why does it look? Because a lot of times we take it personally. That's why we want to know. It's like that they make me feel this way. This kicks up a lot of emotional energy from the past. And so understand you have to do something with that energy. See, the chi, prana, well, that's also spirit. That's what gives us life. So the spiritual blockages make it difficult for that oxygen to flow through you, to work through you. Your supernatural power, your spiritual sovereignty is based on that being like a clear conduit for spirit to work through because there's no separation between you and it and you and the universe. And we know that the universe is expansive, it's abundant. But then when we look at our bank account, we're like, no, where is it? You know what I mean? We're not living that life. So we always want to know why to live the best life. And I believe one day heaven will be on earth, but that's through the character of man. And that's through, just getting into the energy of unconditional love. And that's when we have an open heart and we give and receive. Hey, Britt, love. Yeah, I'm trying to go on at all different times. You know what? Because, you deal with people all over the world. Don't mind the way that I look. Um, Trying to fit in, got to work out. Gotta make my life look like a pizza pie too. I'm on my spiritual journey just the same as you guys are. And so trying to fit everything into one day is kind of hard sometimes when you're doing like 80 things at one time. So anyway, we're going to look at your energy. We're going to see what you need to know about yourself. What is the energy that is kind of playing out? So we'll look at some karmic things and then usually energy that you need to implement into your life and the reason why, and then we'll go into the relationship. I like it that way. I feel like it's a good thing when we know about our energy. Most of the time people like it's always about like looking at the relationship. Who cares after a while? The focus, especially when it's a person that every other week is just doing the same stupid thing. All right, not all the time does that happen though. So we have to look at the wounds and see what is at hand. So we'll just pull two because we'll go back to them after. And then I've been pulling from this angel deck, Angels of Atlantis. I don't know why. I just like the different energy. So, yes, dealing with someone that keeps you ruminating is the worst. And understand that's how a person that stays connected. They don't have to do anything. And they don't have to do anything because, hey, if heart and mind, so the person can feel it when you're on them and that they can still get underneath your skin, and I feel like that happened for a long time. I don't feel like it's happening that much now though, and that's a good thing. It means that you're growing. Doesn't mean that you still don't get triggered. Sometimes it's not, it's just like instead of it being 100% of the time, now it's like maybe like 30% of the time. So it's like the energy definitely shifted, is what I'm feeling. That's when you're like, I actually feel like you're like, I'm done. You know, I feel like I'm done, to be honest with you. All right, let's see what's at hand. All right. Money wounds, so and external validation are the two things that are at hand. And then it's time for action. I'm gonna put that over there. And then it's have faith in your dreams. I like that. Meditate and contemplate. I like that. A wonderful idea, the aha moment. I like that. You see clearly, clairvoyance. I like that. Invasion, boundaries, violation, dominance. I don't like that. And I fucking knew it. I just knew it. And I'm going to tell you why. It's like, and then balance. And then, what's your one? The hell did that other card go? Divine intelligence. All right. So, and I like that. So you've cut your energy off. You're cutting your energy off. And I knew it. And the reason why is because like the focus is on money, is on your money. And it got to a point where there was a wound, but you don't give a fuck anymore. That's like that is external validation because you're like, I need to make money. So you have a dream and passion that says that. It's like have faith in your dreams, and because it's time to take action. So you're putting, you're becoming grounded. You're becoming yourself. So you're moving away from this person. You've cut your energy off from this person. The person definitely feels it. And why I said, you know what? I hate it when you're connected to someone and they keep you ruminating and they know it. They're like, so I feel like this person wanted to trigger you. And they were purposely trying to trigger you by holding you back, holding back to make sure that you got nothing. Because they were so sure you were going to come and like give them what they wanted. You loved them so much that you had this connection. And so they were purposely holding back. And the thing is, their plan backfired. This is what I see here, because it's like, you're like, and I say that because it's like, there was like this spiritual connection, this divine intelligence. And I feel like you saw who this person was, intuitively. Like you're like, I already see the writings on the wall. Like you're kind of trying to keep me on the hook. And it's true. This person like wanted to keep you on the hook. They loved the idea that you had feelings for them and you wanted them so much and this and that they would throw you a breadcrumb once in a while. And so what happened is this person didn't give anything because you saw fucking clearly. You saw right through what you saw, like you saw exactly what they were, doing, that they were trying to keep you on the hook. And so, like, I feel like you're like got inspired to like take a chance of where you might have walked into a store or you starting to collaborate with someone or you have this dream that's about to come into fruition. Spirit saying like, yes, it's a good idea. Yes, now is the time. So this person was a karmic. Because what you see is they were trying to keep you on the hook when instead of you pouring into yourself, their plan backfired. They never expected you to like let go. They never expected you to start pouring into yourself. That's what happened. And so the thing is, it's like you have a very strong connection to the higher self. Yeah, see, mercy. This person wants mercy. They're gonna come in and they're gonna like mercy, but the thing is, you're gonna feel like, how fucking dare you? Because it's like it's another tactic for them to try and dominate your energy. Because it's like it's almost like here it is, you're creating yourself. You cut your energy off because this person wanted to throw a little fucking breadcrumb once in a while at you. You were like, I'm not gonna take it. And then what wound up happening was you poured the energy into yourself. This person's still stalking, still watching, still do like has their tabs on you for, but not giving you anything. So that's like a freak thing. And so what they it is that they're watching and they're like, oh, like their plan backfired. And what they see is things are going to start happening for you. That's what they see. So they're going to come in like kind of throw you out of balance, because right now you are balanced and spirit says that you are to stay balanced. It's like they want to like throw you off, because it's like their plan backfired, and it's like almost like, who are you to like move forward? It's like they really like thought, who they really thought that you were going to do that. And so they, believe me, they're gonna try and make you feel bad for them. They're gonna try and overstimulate you. And again, to see like, do you still have feelings for me? I feel like I can try and manipulate. I can feel like I can try and do that. And that's why Spirit's saying, give us just a little bit more, just a little bit more. Um, and let's pull from a random deck. Nothing that's like I want to see like what this person, are they just like controlling? I mean, I don't like their energy either way. Just because, like I said, you can see what this person was all about, the manipulation, and now they're gonna try and come back and blur the lines and leave shit out of there, like not really 100% be honest. So to think that they can manipulate, because what they see is, I treated you like shit. You were supposed to run after me. I thought you were somebody. I thought you didn't know your worth. I thought I didn't, and I love the fact. So they saw your worth because they love the fact that you like gave them attention. You know, and I will find my way back to you one day. Like I said, this person, like I said, it's like that, and I don't like it. There's somebody else in the picture. So that's what it is. It's like, I believe that this person gave you enough to hold on, but never gave enough because, hey, they might have been involved with somebody else or somebody was on the back burner. Thing is, they chose to give time to that person. And now I feel like this person usually creates a lot of triangulation, like where it's like, I'm going to try, I'm tired of somebody. So I'm going to hook up with somebody else. And that creates a lot of friction between people. This person's a piece of shit. I'm sorry. Like, I do not like them at all. I can see myself with you in the future, but I feel like I ruined everything because they did. So they know what they did. But it's kind of like this dominance thing where it's like I almost feel like they think that they own you, like that you're property or something. Like it irritates them that you're moving forward. It irritates them that they didn't give anything, and how dare you let go and rebuild yourself, and that they're seeing, oh, you're doing something. I want to be a part of that. It's like that energy. There was someone interfering in our relationship. Yeah, they're going to blame the other person, but like they didn't have a choice. When meanwhile, there was a third person there the whole time. So they weren't treating that person nicely. We know that. And so that's why I said this person likes to create drama. They like people like that, just have feelings for them, that are really into them. And that's why it was a one-sided relationship. It's like, and that's the thing. And I feel like that's who they are. It's like it's a one-sided relationship, because guess what? You don't like what they're doing? I'm gonna run to Sally over here. And then guess what? When Sally gets pissed off, I'm gonna run back to you. And then if both of you act up, I'm gonna run to somebody else because I think who I am. And so that's why I don't like this person, because it's like, who are you? You didn't give anything at that time. I feel lost without you. Like I'm gonna tell you, they're gonna come in and act like, please have mercy, please have mercy. Like I didn't know, and try, and it wasn't my fault. It's like I had to be there for you. I'll come back for you. Different deck shit. Like it's like, and that's the thing. It's like that. I feel, is this the same damn deck? Like, because it's like I feel like I read that already. I feel like I can be my true self with you. It's not like it can no, this is a different deck and you got the same shit. Like literally. It's like I feel like I can see myself with you. So it's like this person has a spiritual connection to you. And it's obvious because keeps coming out like two different decks. I'm like, I just say that, and it's like so it goes back to they're not really satisfied with that person. So I feel like they have people to strategically be with to like train the person that they're with. So you were supposed to be getting trained. They thought, oh, that I can make this into what I want it to, and that's the thing. It's like this person didn't do that. Like I said, their plan backfired. But now I just want to again pick more random cards to see again. Are they going to do anything? Like what's going to happen? Because it's like that's messed up. Um, Old wounds and childhood issues need revisiting. That's what we got. Of course. So spirit's saying it's like this person's damaged. It's like, and they don't do the healing. And that's why, again, the people that they're with over time hope make them accountable, right? It's like if you're with somebody, you expect them to like act a certain way. So the second that you open up your mouth, it's like they get triggered. They have like, oh, it hurts their ego. And then they're like, I'll show you. So that's why I said, I don't like this person. It's like there's something wrong with them. It's all about like dominance. It's all about control. And instead of fixing themselves, it's like they're gonna, hurt people. This person's toxic. It's external bachelor. Right? External bachelor. And if you're with somebody that's a girl, they're external bachelorette. It's like, that they're never gonna change. It's like that's the thing. They always pretend that they're single. They always pretend that they're single, but there's always someone on the back burner. There's always someone, and they're always training those people, and just just very very selfish energy, very selfish. Um, I have to put a trigger warning. I should put a trigger warning on this because it's like it like this is a harsh one. Um, I'm not sure I can meet your expectations, which is why. And Spirit says it's time for you to like spend time with friends, and that you look at this as like a thing for you. Also, it's about karma clearing because it's like, and the karma could be, I didn't love myself enough. I didn't value myself enough. So you remember, God says, I'm the most important thing because I'm a jealous God. So it's you first because I'm inside of you. There is no separation. So when you like tolerate this wish-washy energy, which is what they would always do, and the breadcrumbing, and then not really getting enough, and things, and again, the cockiness of who they actually thought that they were. Then again, you were disrespecting yourself, which then again, the God says, then you're disrespecting me, and I have a problem with that. So, I gave you free will, but then there's consequences. So you're out of alignment with the law of the universe. And most people do. And that's why this person's ego is like, there. That's a big turn off. Literally, that's what they see. They can feel that that's what you are, that your energy is broken away. And you're like, oh, like, I'm just so disgusted by you. And this person never expected that. Never, ever, ever, ever expected that. And they still want the relationship because they're like, you were like, I could be really myself. Where this person, like, they create facades. And the thing is that you really like them for who they are. And that's why they never had that before. And they were like, in someone of your caliber, like most people, like, it's surface. It's like little lies a little bit, but there's no connection. So this person handled you the way that they handle everybody else. And that's why they're like that. So it's like I don't like the fact because again, Spirit says you already know, so we don't need to pull any more cards. They're planning on running back into your life, and they don't care what's going on in your life. So strong boundaries. Spirit says one more time, strong boundaries. because understand they can't do anything. They want to, they want to be back in your life. Have mercy on me. Like, again, I want to be in your life. So you could be like, you can throw them a breadcrumb and just to keep them at bay. Like, oh, don't cross over that line. Don't call me. It's 2 o'clock. It's like, be like Judge Judy. You know what I'm saying? Like in dealing with this person. Like literally how Judge Judy, you don't fuck with her. You know how she's like, oh, listen on the time. Like that's how you're gonna have to deal with this person. Because it's like they think who they are. The thing is, it's like that you gotta clear the karma. And I feel like karma is, listen, there's an opportunity for you. Like the beginning of your reading. Dreams are about to happen. You're stepping into it. And this POS thinks that they're going to run back in and like, oh, here I am. It's like, you got to be like, boundary. You didn't earn that. I know who you think you are. It's like you said, they're a little too cocky. And the thing is, if you make it easy for this person to even be your friend, to even talk to you, it's like they'll be disrespectful. It's like because that's who they are. It's like it has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with the fact that their ego is always fragile. And that's why they need to have a lot of people around them that blow smoke up their rear end, to make them think because they were hurt. Mommy and daddy couldn't come for them when they were a kid, and now you're paying for it for the rest of your life. And we already got that in another deck. So it's almost like the reading's redundant at this point. It's like, I feel like you're my property. I tried to make you subservient. Yes, I did that, but let's not revisit that. And I just feel like I could be your true self, my true self with you. So please have mercy for me, and they don't have a problem being like that because like we had a connection. And remember, most of the people that do put up with that, they're not on a very high vibration. They're not creating their life. They're not on the verge of making their dreams come true. They're not like again, so this person is dealing with different energy. So of course now they're gonna be like, I love you. They're gonna be like that because you're triggering their abandonment issue. Remember, mommy and daddy couldn't be there for them. So they need to revisit those old childhood wounds. They don't want to do that. So they're gonna relive those experiences over and over and over again where you're about to clear karma because you're like, no, I'm not being gonna be with you. I'm not. I don't care. Let's see how this person handles it. I'm just curious, like what, like this scenario, if you would be like, I'm not interested. I am not interested in anything that you have to offer because that is really like the boundary. And Spirit says, how are they going to handle it? Spirit says, like just like not admitting to it, like almost like just not like, okay, I'm gonna put my head in the sand for a little while and I'll come back like in 2 weeks and we'll see whether we'll revisit it because I'm not gonna like do that and I'm refusing to face reality because I just can't, like their ego is so big that I'm not really gonna take no for an answer. So which is what which I suspected. Like I said, please have mercy on me. You know what I'm saying? Like all that. And then it's like, okay. And then it's like, and spirit says it's like they're gonna project a lot. They're gonna project a lot because again, they just can't a head trip for them. Like it's fucking them up. It's like that you would say no. So that like literally that's what it says here, head trip. Like and it's almost like what did you do? Hocus pocus, almost like are you a witch? Like because I don't have feelings. People don't normally say no. Like they just don't believe it. Like I said, like it's an illusion. It's like they're not gonna look at it. They're not gonna look at it. It's like, and so that you're dealing with a person, like you said, that has a big ego. And they really thought that things were going to work out. They really thought that they could treat you how they wanted to treat you, is what this looks like. And so again, we ask, and like Spirit says, like they're gonna go down, go down the rabbit hole, like, because it's like almost like not really no, not really no, and they just feel like they just almost like down the rabbit hole to me is always like a negative thing, but it's almost like they waking up from a dream. It's almost like it wasn't real. Like you weren't never gonna walk away from me. We were just gonna be together. And so they're being faced with, you can't treat me the way that you want to treat me and think that I will be in your life. How dare you have like people all over give attention to all these people and then try and push me into being subservient to you. Like that's like what this, so it's again, they of course do not want to look at it because that makes them look horrible. And it's not like they didn't have feelings for you. They did have feelings for you. And so again, we have to say this person's going to try. They're still going to try because there's still like an like again, it's like they almost go through like a dark night of the soul. Like Phoenix is like crash and burn, but then also like the ascension. It's like the end to the beginning. So either way, this person is going to go through a transformation because of it, because it like pushes them off their high horse is how I get. And because there's still like again an emotional connection, but it pushes this person into healing because those wounds they push down and push down and push down and push down. And so there was a bigger reason for the relationship for them, which is you're going to look at your wounds one way or the other. You don't want to look at what you do, which is why they were like, I refuse to believe that you won't come back to me. And so it's like, but when you hold true, this person's going to see that they're not, it's again, they're not going to be part of any of it. And, like I said, that is going to make them look into these deeper layers of themselves and it's going to change their character because they were an asshole. I mean, I'm sorry. I never say talk that way really about, I mean, I might say, oh, the person's a jerk, but this person was like horrible. Like, I mean, they were just horrible, horrible. And not just to you, but to everyone that was involved and thinking who they are. That's a person that like monster, like is what it looked like. And so yeah, that it's like what's gonna happen is eventually they're gonna be focused. They're going to be forced to look at their behavior to like where they didn't want to do that and they refused to do that for a long time. And so when a person needs a lot of healing, which you see that person did because that's all that came up, it's like I'm allowed to treat you this way because I had a hard childhood, which is ridiculous. And it's almost like that, well, Spirit says it wasn't just the childhood, but that was the beginning of the trauma. Then it was all these other relationships. So this person just learned, well, I'm going to like navigate my life this way. So it's like, I'm like, so they have feelings for you, but because again, it stated that, but what's so scary is to me is it's like, again, it's more of a dominance. It's more of a control because like I said, it's like you're moving forward. Like who did you move forward? I didn't give you anything and you're moving forward. And it's like, how dare you? You know what I mean? And that's why I'm saying this person just, they're not awake or they weren't awake when they were dealing with you. But Spirit says, well, they crashed and burned. They can only be an ostrich for so long. Eventually, the illusion wears away, but they fight it. And that's why they come back to you and they're like, no, and that's why you have to be like, oh, no, because of that. Because it's like they don't really want to face their bullshit. And that's they want that. But in facing their bullshit, they don't, it's the consequence of losing a relationship and then just their life of having to see themselves that way. It's like it's a timeout because then, like I said, it's not like there wasn't a connection. It's just this connection would have made them like have to step it up. And, they didn't really want to do that. And the thing is, like you said, once you left, then it triggered their abandonment issues. So it's all about like the dominance and the control, which is more about them avoiding healing, more about, control. And then you would have to pay for their karma. So they wouldn't just ruin your business, they would be a horrible person, and their horrible person was that they had a person everywhere so that they would never have to be accountable. It was fucked up to me. And so Spirit's saying, I've been so great. This person, again, I just wanted to pull from a different deck. And so that's the thing. It's like, I've been so grounded all my life. It's hard for me to trust the spiritual elements of this connection, but I can't deny that they exist. So it's like, again, that spiritual connection, this person obviously is not spiritual and they haven't done any healing. So I don't think that they understood the connection, and but they definitely knew that they should have stepped it up for the type of connection that it was. But they didn't want to be vulnerable because they're like I said, they need healing. So the best thing that you could do in a situation like this is be like, well, then why the hell did I attract this person into my life? Yeah, I might need healing, but what exactly specifically do I need to heal? Because I never want to experience anything even remotely like that ever again. That would be, and Spirit says, well, you're clearing the karma through stepping in to your dreams. Through taking that chance. You're clearing the karma, and the karma was money issues. But when we have money issues, then we feel bad about ourselves, and then we tend to be codependent. So the family karma is bad. It's like watching that maybe your parents got together at one point. I think the majority of parents back in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, were codependent because that's what society taught. And then what happened is it went completely the opposite way. Like where now it's people are like every man for himself. But back in the day, it was codependent because women didn't work, or they, worked part time and they took care of the kids. So if they weren't happy, where were they going? Because they had to, a lot of them stayed in relationships, and they stayed in relationships because, again, of money. So whether you might have been born into a relationship, born into a family like that. And so as kids, you could always tell when your parents don't like each other. You know what I'm saying? You can tell because there's usually a lot of rage. There's a lot of like yelling and arguing, right? There's that where people are just tend to not be happy. And so when children grow up in that, it's just overwhelming for them because it's like, well, the parents are not getting along and they're screaming. So I can't really ask for what I need because they might rip my head off. I feel like more of an inconvenience. I feel like I just don't want to be here because they hate each other. And in that, it's like, it's that energy just is very, like I said, very overwhelming. And you're not really getting what you need, like it's because parents obviously can't be there for you. So it's not that life doesn't work. It's just it's chaotic because it's like, well, I kind of feel like I'm raising myself, because mom's not happy. So mom has to like do things to make herself happy. Dad's not happy. So he's doing things to make himself happy. But when they're home, they're not happy, and that vibe is just affecting the entire house. And so really as children, you're not really getting nurtured, you're not really getting loved, right? And so as a kid, kids need the emotional support. They also need their parents to show up for them. They need, because and that means intuitively, like when you show up for your child intuitively, you know what's going on with your child. But if there's problems, then no one is really doing anything. It's like everyone is like nurturing their own wounds. And so that's usually with drinking or smoking or doing things like to just get their own happiness because they're not happy. And so what happens is you are born into a karmic covenant, and that's where you're kind of being taught like bad behaviorisms, right? Because you see, like, no one's really happy. And the way that they talk to each other, you can tell, and then how they talk to you eventually is that also. But what comes from that is self sabotaging behaviorisms, because you're being conditioned to believe that you're not worthy of anything because your parent is never really around. They're not really giving you any attention. So as a child, you learn to like overgive in order to get that attention. You become like the fixer, the healer, because in order to survive. And so over time, what happens is you're seen as like that no one understands you, because it's like, why are you being so self-sacrificing, and then or you like or you want something in return, when meanwhile, no, that was a condition that I grew up in, to be like that, to be overgiving. But it's self-sabotaging because you unconsciously teach people not to value you, and it's not because your parents meant to do that. I just have to say, where did it come from? Where did this shit come from? Like, why would I attract that person into my life? And Spirit says, because again, the no love person was so like caught up in their own delusion. And that's when parents are not getting along and life is difficult. Well, then your parents were not caught up. They weren't grounded. They were caught up in their disillusion of what life was. So then a child feels like a little inadequate. They feel like, oh God, I'm always uncomfortable. And that's why where self-sabotage comes from, because it's overstimulating. Because when you're a child, you're conditioned to love your parents. So what happens is the relationship that you have, whether what the attachment style, which the here was clearly avoidant. So what did you get? You got a person that stuck their head in the sand, just like your parents stick their head in the sand. They don't fix anything. There's just a whole lot of passive aggressiveness. There's just a whole lot of that. And so the dynamic of the family structure is now fragmented. And when it's fragmented, then there's detachment. And when there's detachment, there's a sense of I don't really feel strong within myself. And so then people perceive you to be, again, that energy, when really that's not who you are. It's like the self-sabotaging is like the fear of not being deserving. And not to mention, this rageful energy is that energy that I felt with that person, which is like, you'll be mine, that energy, like just off. And it's like that nasty energy. And when you grow up in a household where you see your parents hate each other, well, what do you say as a kid? I'm never going to be like that. But then you're like, but why do those people come to me? And it's like, that's the karmic theme. And it's like, because it says honor mother and father. How can you love, honor mother and father when they're like that? And Spirit says to realize that it's out of balance. They were brought up in a family where there was screaming, and then that's how they learned how to communicate, and they were codependent, and that's why. So again, it wasn't really their fault. It's what society collectively taught them. You should get married by the time that you're like 15. Yeah, and it would be really good if you went off to war too. Fought in World War. That would be great. Watching people like shoot their legs off. Wouldn't that be wonderful? Yeah, like again, before your brain's even developed. That's the government. That's society. That's how it was. And so how it still is. And so what happens is we lose our way over time. And then it's not that there's not love, but when you're a kid and you're like being put into these situations that make you feel not safe, well, now you have that energy, and that we're spiritual beings. We're having human experience, but we're spiritual beings, and fragmentation creates you become a magnet for attachments, spiritual attachments. And that's when a person relives the same karmic themes over and over, and they're like, since the beginning of time, And that's what happened to this person. Since the beginning of time, it's been like this. So I've learned how to navigate my way to get what I want. And that to me is spiritual disease, because it took that person out of the true self, the higher self of unconditional love, and it distorted that person's perception. And rage will do that also. But self-sabotaging behavior is into us, and they're wired into us from the environment that you grow up in and the things that you learned. So we can transcend the limitations of our own mind and those traumas, but we have to again understand what we did. And so spirits said, well, we don't of the reading, hey, this is where you're right. All about you invest your time into your person. And so, but we want to know more. And so Spirit says we need to alchemize the energy fully. And so Spirit says, well, it's all about the grand journey. Realize that all experiences, good and bad, are what shape you and are growing you. And it was to, yes, facing your fears. What if I wind up with someone like my parents? Spirit says, yeah, and you won't keep them in your life. Like, because you have discernment, because you already learned that lesson of, I want a good relationship. I don't want a bad relationship. And being with you would be a horrible relationship, is what Spirit says. And Spirit says, happening for you in divine timing, like Spirit has a plan for you, and that's with your career, and that's what you're about to step into. So that's happening in divine timing. This was going to happen right before divine timing because, well, Satan is watching also and sensing those karmic mates saying, well, guess what? I don't want you to have a relationship with God, with Spirit. Because again, really, we see that's how we have a relationship with God, because God works through us, through gut intuition, and works through the environment. When everything happens in divine time, you're going to stay true to yourself. If you grew up in codependency, well, you would need to that generational karma. This is what Spirit says. And we see that you did. It's again, you're envisioning brighter horizon, finally seeing your worth. Hey, that's not what your parents did. And that's why Spirit said it's about forgiveness. They weren't taught their genius. They weren't taught that. They were taught, go out and do this. And they did it. So it wasn't their fault. They didn't know any better. They were taught from a very dogmatic perspective, which is what I see, is what I know, is what I believe, just the facts. They weren't taught to pour into themselves. They came from more survival-based perception. And, that's what happens, when you let other people tell you who you are. And if you grow up in an environment where, no one's saying it, but it's how people are treating you, they're neglecting you, well, then that's kind of the message. I guess I'm not really that important. And Spirit says it's time to like ascend light, let go of who like who you think you were, because that really wasn't who you are. There's a story of who you think you are, then there's a real story of who you truly are. And you say, why the hell do you do that? And God says, for my glory, we wouldn't have a relationship. It's like you need to see the support. And the support is the connection to me. Because you didn't have support. Because, hey, they were fighting. They were really like, they weren't there. Because they were consumed with their own problems. Because they weren't taught to see their genius. They didn't know about how to tap into their spiritual sovereignty. They didn't realize they weren't, again, and we're coming into the age of Aquarius where we actually have that potential, where Spirit's saying, where it's all about releasing the limiting beliefs that no longer serve you and support you. And but then Spirit says, but now I need to see the action, that you got to embody that. And by you stepping into your dreams and into your life, person's karma, because they could have been a part of it. And that's what's really going to affect them, Spirit says it, because it's like, yeah, they like you, but it's more like, wow, you're the package now. And it's weird, and you're like, yeah, and it's not going to be your package. That's the whole thing. Like, it's again how good you would look for me You know, that narcissistic energy is what I don't, selfish. You know, yes, they're ascending, but a person like that still needs to be trained. They still need to be trained. They when they come back, they would be like, "Oh, I have mercy, I'll change," you know. But in that changing, remember, people get comfortable, so you would always have to be like, and that's exhausting. Is what it is. So Spirit says gratitude. Be aware of the light in your life, and you direct your thoughts to that beauty in and around you. You give thanks to God for every little thing that brings you joy, and you're enlightened. Your thoughts, riches surround me. Well, you're coming into money, is what Spirit is saying. And I appreciate all that life brings me. So you're going to be moving into this big place of gratitude, and this person's going to be over there like this. I could have had some of that. You know, it's like I could need like a big kick in the ass. Is that is that you made? They it says because they were not nice to a lot of people. It wasn't just you. They were like they treated a lot of people like disposable. And Spirit says, no matter what you go through, choose serenity, positive energy, no matter what you go through. And you say, how is that? And Spirit says, your choice of focus is your greatest tool for that. And so you have to have a passion. You have to have a love. You have to, otherwise, remember, this person would have loved to throw you off. And Spirit says, choose happiness, rise above fear, and direct your thoughts to God, because God is the energy of love. And the energy that's going to keep you safe. It's the energy that gives you discernment. It's the energy that gives you supernatural power. And that's why Spirit says that karmic, it was a test. And that test wants to cut you off and to keep you separate from your divine energy. But that's why you're breaking karma and you're seeing your genius where your parents didn't. And that's why Spirit says, so you need to forgive and understand that they just didn't know any better. They didn't know any better. And sometimes our parents learn through us, even when they die. Like, again, I believe that they still see us, watch over us. I still can feel my mom and my dad, and I did not like my mother. So I actually feel my mother a lot around me a lot. Like, I'm like, what the fuck do you want? It's like you were not nice to me in life. So I have no idea why you're here. And Spirit says that's the reason why. It's again. And do I feel like she's sorry? Not 100%. Let me tell you something. She's not 100% just because she died. She's like, oh no, I like again refuse to look at it. Like where my dad, like he's like learning where he like wants to learn. Where it's like in that like his nature is still the same. When a person dies, they don't all of a sudden become light and light being. No, 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 no. We live many lifetimes. You were fucking the past life, you've been fucking this lifetime. Learn the spiritual lessons that need to be learned to be unfucked and to connect to your higher self. That is the way, Spirit says. And it's all about integration and transmutation so that you can evolve to the highest state of consciousness so you can create your heaven on earth so you can be abundant. And Spirit says you're actually walking into that energy. And that's why this person's like, oh, and that's why their karma is like that. You're like, oh, I'm surrounded by money and I'm like loving my life. And because again, they played. And Spirit says, well, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. That's how it has to work. So I'm going to leave that there for you guys. You let me know how you resonated. What is this grant? I don't remember anything before 9 years old. Yeah, that's what happens. It's like when you grow up in that type of environment, it's I'm having a hard time with my root chakra. Yeah, that's the thing. And that's a connection to the physical body, the physical world, and all the physical elements of the physical world. When people have a root chakra imbalance, the best thing to do is everything that you'll hate. And I'm going to say you would need to do things like cold plunges to train your nervous system to breathe, to be in the moment, to be in the now. You'd have to again ground by joining things and finding yourself and becoming yourself. People don't like grounding when they don't know who they are. And when they don't know who they are, they tend to be bored of life or in an energy of, I don't really like life, And so, root chakra imbalance, you'll always have issues with like the physical elements of the physical world. Because if you grow up in that environment where you were made to feel like, I don't like you, and when meanwhile it's not that your parents didn't like you, they just were stressed out, not happy, like, then spirit says that then you'll always go into the world feeling that way. So what heals that is becoming a new version of yourself. And that's why I said, when you have a root chakra imbalance, it's the hardest one, because it means that you were wired, you were born into the like of covenant, you were just born into that. So it's always been like this for as long as I've known. I've had a problem with money, I've had a problem with relationship, I had a problem where really it's spirit says it's habits, it's behaviorisms. And so the most biggest thing is we need to get present. And it's hard to stay present when you've conditioned yourself to detach, because it's just, hey, I grew up in an environment where they were screaming at each other, so and then, or screaming at me, so I just learned how to check out. And spirit says, yeah, what helped you survive will block you from thriving. That's why presence is so important. Otherwise you create the same types of experiences, and that's why the root chakra is difficult to heal. Because like I said, you have to recondition your nervous system, you have to recondition the way that you think. That body mind connection needs to be reintegrated, because again, your mind was like, I know, but I just offered fucking to bake the 1,000 cupcakes anyway. Do you want to bake the 1,000 cups? I don't want to do that. Well, why did you do that? I don't know. I always offer to do shit I don't want to do. That's again a habit, it's a survival mechanism. So it's again, it's automatic. So sometimes, like what happens to people that have trauma, they're like, I don't trust myself. I don't trust myself. I don't like myself. So the biggest thing that I'd like to see you work on, Brit Love, is to get a better connection to the physical body. Again, and I would do things like body mind medicine. I do weight lifting. It's about the breath. I do cold plunges. Again, once the weather gets a little nicer, obviously. I would do those things, because it's again, you have the potential to recreate your life. It's just it really takes presence, because what'll happen is it's not that you won't get triggered. You'll notice that you get triggered and you won't react from it. And you'll be able to integrate it, because you'll be like, why did that person make me feel that way? And your intuition will eventually tell you what you need to do. And that's the thing. It's like, but you need to recondition that body mind. That's why you got meditation a few times, where spirit says, take time out. Don't forget to take time out to meditate, to contemplate. You got that. You got once. And so spirit saying, because it's not so much that you'll get the divine guidance when you meditate. Some people do. I never do. You condition yourself to get comfortable in that energy where you're just in a space of like nothing, where you're not thinking about anything. And then what'll happen is your intuition will just work. And you'll know it's your intuition, because there's always a call to action with real intuition. That's the higher self. It's not this chatter that's like, should I do this? Nah. Should I do that? Nah. Like it's not that. It's like it just came on random, like, oh, I know. And you'll feel it because there's a flutter in the stomach. We all have clear cognizance, because spirit says, I made you in my image. So you actually have that. It's that everybody has it. And the more clairsentient you are, that feeling, well, the more clear cognizance you become. That's how mediumship is done. It's like it's just the feeling, and then again, like you questions, and it's like you don't know how you know, you just know. And spirit says, well, I that's my language. That's the language of the higher self. Claircognizance is spiritual knowing. And so spirit says, I'm inside of you, so you have discernment. But when your body and mind is not connected, because you have a root chakra imbalance, you're not going to trust yourself, and you're not going to feel it. and you're going to miss the intuition cues. So that's why I said, all I care about right now for you is to heal that root chakra, and then we can work on the other chakras. Do that, and I can swear to you, you will save a lot of headache. It's not that you're not intuitive, it's just you miss it. But when you get a better, stronger connection to your body, you're more rooted, you're more anchored, and you become more psychic when you're actually in your body, not when you're in your head. Because the whole point of why we have that ability is to create, to be co-creators. Because God says you can do whatever you want, free will, do whatever you want as long as you help humanity, give and receive of love, your free will. I'll help you do it because God knows that your plan really isn't that good. And we have to use what's in the environment, and my plan's better than yours because I'm all knowing, you're not. So again, you got to become it and imagine it, and then it happens. And that's only going to happen if you're grounded. It's only going to happen when you have that strong connection to the body. That's why you have a body. It's to, again, learn and to create. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you, Britt, and thank you, everybody else that shared your energy with me. And until next time, be true to you. Remember, the kingdom of heaven's inside of you. Love yourself first. That teaches people how to treat you. Most people treat other people nice, and they forget how to treat themselves. And then they wonder why that person doesn't treat me nice when meanwhile I'm so nice to them. And Spirit says, because you don't treat me nice, bitch. It's again, me first. I'm a jealous God. That person's an asshole. I'm going to leave that there. Bye-bye.